What's up, everybody? Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad, and Happy New Year's to you people. 2013 was a great year for games, some lacking and some excelling. That's why I've compiled a list of my top 5 games of 2013, as well as my worst game of 2013. That being said, no one watching should feel pressured or insulted by the picks. Remember, this is my personal list of 2013. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 5. Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm about to get heat from this. With no argument, GTA 5 is a great game, but unfortunately, it wasn't great enough to score higher up on my list. Its lack of interest in the 3 playable characters, with the exception of Trevor, and a story that didn't show any real main objective restricted it from climbing up my top 5. I will say, I've clocked hours of my time into GTA's now well-done online multiplayer, as well as gotten some steam out in the single-player sandbox. A few sticky bombs and a rocket launcher can turn my frown upside down anytime. Number 4. BioShock Infinite. With an amazing and thought-provoking story about a man named Booker DeWitt escorting a special girl named Elizabeth in order to pay off a debt he owes, but then breaks off into a story of multiple universes and illusion of choice, BioShock Infinite was a serious contender for my game of the year. Even though most of the vigors and the guns in BioShock were almost useless or really hard to use, the gameplay never really suffered because of the introduction of the skyline, which I use heavily, or the dimensional tears that you could order Elizabeth to open. Along with BioShock's gameplay was a mind-bending story, with an ending that swam through my head for days. I actually had to YouTube to fully understand the ending. Number 3. Beyond Two Souls. Holy crap. This game had me feeling some type of way. Beyond Two Souls follows Jodie Holmes, a girl born and connected to an entity named Aiden. Throughout Beyond, you'll flash back and forth through Jodie's life, making decisions that actually affect what happens in the story, or her search for answers and why she's connected to Aiden, and what lies beyond. See what I did there? The gameplay is simple and effective with the use of white dots for interactable objects, and switching over to play as Aiden never felt uncomfortable. It was so fun to just float around and mess with stuff, and don't get me started about possessing people. Wrap that up with its top-notch cast of actors, sound, and immersive story, Beyond has made itself one of the most memorable games I've ever played. There's 11 endings, technically 50. You'd think after my 7th playthrough, I'd be bored. Nope. Number 2. The Last of Us. Listen, if there's anything I love more in a game, it's sound. Thank God Almighty for The Last of Us. This game follows Joel, a man 20 years through the species jump plague that infected most of the country, if not the world. For reasons, Joel has to escort a vulgar and very relatable 14-year-old named Ellie to a Firefly base camp. As the story progresses, you witness a father-daughter relationship build between Joel and Ellie as they try to survive the struggle of living during the journey. This game has literally the best sound I've ever heard in a video game. Seriously. I stepped on a piece of wood and it made a noise. And I don't mean like a wooden floor, I mean like an actual little block of wood, and it sounded like I just stepped on an actual block of little wood. The Last of Us gets 2nd place because it's a true game for gamers, and anything involving the struggle automatically wins my vote. Worst game of 2013. Call of Duty Ghosts. Please, someone, anyone, help Infinity Ward. I can't deal with another Call of Duty. Don't get me wrong, I actually like the story, kind of, but all these Call of Duties are literally the same thing. I played literally 1 week of Ghost and I had a revelation. I was like, oh my god, I'm done. Seriously, never has a game made me so mad to the point where I threw my chair at the TV. Sure, you can say I suck, you won't be wrong, so yeah. But this game has no excuse or defense on its terrible hit detection.
What? What?
Hello.
What was that?
Terrible spawns,
SATCOM uplink enabled. Enemy care package incoming.
and I'm always being thrown into a rage quit game. What the shit? And the new ideas they tried to put in the game just made me even more mad. They were all good ideas, but they never mixed with the game right. And don't play this game when you're mad and trying to blow steam. Trust me, it'll only make that vein in your head want to actually explode. Number 1. Tomb Raider. Alright, listen, if you're sitting at your desk banging at the keyboard wondering why that's my top game of 2013, allow me to explain. Tomb Raider is a full reboot of the past Tomb Raider series. The game follows Lara Croft, an archaeologist fresh out of college with a ship crew, all in search of a discovery to bring them to fame and fortune. After being shipwrecked, stranded, and kidnapped, Lara is left with the heavy burden of reuniting with her crew members, as well as finding a way off the island, even though it feels like everything on the island won't let them. Being a classic Tomb Raider fan that I am, I was skeptical about this reboot. After watching a few E3 demos about 2 years ago, I want to say, my whole mindset changed. I actually got a job to raise money for this game. I was 15 at the time. I literally went out and got a job just to pay for this game. I was that hyped. The game is beautiful and immersive. The campsites used to upgrade and save were a well-suited feature. Gameplay and story were solid and intense. No puzzle ever felt too hard or time-consuming. The voice acting and sound were great. And just like the classic Tomb Raiders, you never wanted to die, because you knew you'd have to see a gruesome death of Lara. I died one time because of a parachute. I never died again. The multiplayer, let's not talk about the multiplayer. I think it was only tacked on in there just to attract those of us who say they won't play a game without multiplayer. Let's talk about the ending. Without spoiling anything, the ending had me at the edge of my seat with wide eyes and mouth and awe. Basically, the ending left a little note in my head. No matter what, a survivor can't be born. Through hardship, struggle, and a desperate will to live, only then can a survivor be created.